So good afternoon. So my name is Sabrina and I come from Aix-en-Provence Area Control Center. I'm here today to present you the impact of bad weather conditions for air traffic in Aix-ACC. Sorry. Bad weather conditions have been a real issue in aviation for the past few months. Moreover, even if a few incidents are reported, many more happen. So my presentation today will be divided into three parts. Firstly, I will explain what kind of weather conditions can be dangerous. Then I will describe an incident where one of those conditions was involved. And finally, I will give some proposals for safety to be improved. So first of all, what kind of weather conditions can be dangerous? So one of the most hazardous weather conditions are storms, since they gather all the phenomena pilots need to avoid. So we can got turbulence that can damage the structure, icing that can decrease the lift, lightning that can damage the electronics, and precipitation such as rain, hail, or snow. And sometimes they can lead to something less expected. Air traffic controller just cannot go to work. So this is a picture of Aix-ACC from January, and there was a lot of snow, and they haven't had that for 25 years. But what is more frequent in Aix is the particularity of its control area. Actually, the control area goes from the Alps to the Mediterranean Sea. Those areas are often stormy, and particularly during summer, with an increasing traffic from April to October. So these conditions have an impact on our traffic controller's job. In stormy conditions, pilots need to avoid CBs. So CBs, that's where are located the storms, and they often do so without telling you. That's why it means more coordination. So a lot of coordination has to be done between the other sectors. And just to remind the regulation, in ACC, the vertical separation is 1,000 feet minimum, and the horizontal separation is 5 nautical miles minimum. In stormy conditions, the best way is to separate aircraft vertically to be sure that they won't avoid the storm and to have the control on their route. I'll now describe an incident where storms were involved. So the area where the incident took place is the upper sector above Nice. So here, it was a very stormy night in October 2007. So what about the facts? The two aircraft involved were Airstream 8820 and Flight 1071. So Airstream 8820 was here, and it was 10 nautical miles ahead of Flight 1071, who was just behind. Both were cleared at the same flight level 280, and they were heading to the same route, that's to Pygos. So they were having this route. Airstream 8820 carried on its route to Pygos, despite the fact that previous aircraft reported to avoid the storm by the right. So Flight 1071, however, did so. So Flight 1071 took this route. Airstream 8820 got closer and closer to the storm, which we can assume was located around here. And it got too close to the storm and finally decided to avoid the storm by the right. taking an avoiding vector of 90 degrees, whereas air traffic controller were told 40 degrees. So instead of going to figures like this, we then write 90 degrees. So this, of course, led to a resolution advisory TCAS between two aircraft, since the routes were too close to each other at the same flight level. We had the final separation of 500 feet for 3.4 nautical miles. As far as the feedback is concerned, so from the event, the air traffic controller just did not want an assume how previous aircraft avoided the storm. And because this incident was relevant enough, an investigation was carried out, and that's why we got the feedback from the investigation service. So they emphasized the fact that in stormy conditions, the fact that how previous aircraft avoided the storm should always, it's an information that should always be given to aircraft. And moreover, the fact that separating vertically two aircraft is better should always be kept in mind. Now I will try to give some proposals for safety to be improved. So during their career, air traffic controllers have briefings, some general ones, some specific ones. Specific ones are called TRM, that's Team Resource Management. So a new TRM could be created to help air traffic controllers to deal with stormy conditions. It could happen just before summer, and so it could be put in place. Thing is that the only source of weather information that air traffic controllers have come from the aircraft. So that's the only source for air traffic controllers. That means that they never know in advance what the pilot's route would be. A solution for that should be to add weather information on the radar screen, information that could be displayed by air traffic controllers whenever they need it. Then those information should of course be updated, and often since storms are moving very fast. And that's why data link could help, since aircraft would be able to send that very accurate weather information to the system previously described. But it would raise, of course, some concerns as far as the cost is concerned, as far as the way to put it in place is concerned. Nevertheless, safety technology is improving, and safety shouldn't be a matter of money. To conclude, bad weather conditions are very difficult for air traffic controllers to cope with a very poor technology to help. Moreover, since the crash of the Air France 447 that happened 2 months ago, or 3 months ago, who was going from Rio to Paris. Pilots are feel more and more concerned about the weather, and so during stormy conditions, since this event, the people are more and more involved, and it's more difficult for them, and so yeah, so I don't know, people are just feel very concerned about this, and sometimes it can be dangerous, since those conditions are already too difficult for feelings to be involved.
80 seconds.
Good.
À la fin, c'est The End. Je